Yes, okay. Yes, like a macro, like I use my jungle macro and now I've been learning like how to lane. But dude, I don't know how to carry on this shit. Like I don't know
Because
how to close out games.
it's ADC is a role, and it sucks. I would say it kind of sucks how much impact you can have just depending on the teammates that you have, and that's just how
Dude,
the
that's
ADC role like works.
that's what it feels like. Like I'm in this elo and like even if I pop the fuck off, there's sometimes where it's just like no matter what I do, no matter how hard I bash the bot lane, the other enemy bot lane, it's like there's no impact.
Yeah. So, do you just not like ADC?
No, dude, I love Tristana. Like
Okay, you
Tristana,
love Tristana.
yeah, Tristana is the only AD carry I play and have fun one. But the problem is that bot lane, like, okay, there's some matchups that even I know that I have to play like safe against, right?
Yeah.
When that happens and the team absolutely eats it, or like something else happened, it just feels like a useless role.
Yeah.
Or if the whole team is eating it, I'm the only one ahead. I just feel like I can't compete with any of the other lanes just because I'm XP sharing with another person.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever tried Tristana mid? I don't know if it's viable. I think it still is. Have you
Yeah,
ever tried it?
I did try it. I did play a game recently of Tristana mid.
Because mid
Um,
is more of an impactful role, and as Tristana, you can just shove waves really quickly and roam. Like that's her game plan usually.
y yeah, and I did actually play one 3 days ago. It was a normal game though, and I did pop off. I did go 5-1, but again, it's normals. Bro, I actually don't know what's happening with my like every single game I play, it feels like I don't know. I think I'm just in the for fun mindset, right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
I mean, I
but
think that's probably going to be like I guess your number one issue is if you want to rank up in league, the for fun needs to go away. That's just kind of how it is for the most
yeah,
part. You need to pay attention. You need to focus because
yes,
that's what's going to get you up there. But I also want to talk to you about some of your micro decisions that you took, and also I just want to talk about maybe some things that you could have done better, just a little bit better. You know,
yes, yeah,
that could really push you further.
yeah.
And here, I just want to first say I don't think running lethal tempo is good.
And why?
And because I feel like press the
Yeah,
attack is probably the best rune for her no matter what. Because her whole kit revolves around killing one champion and resetting. And press
yeah,
the attack is all about that. Hit someone 3 consecutive times and deal more damage to them. So
yeah,
you'll basically not switch targets. So I feel like
yes,
press the attack is probably what you should always go pretty much no matter what. And then yes, cut down as well. Coup de grace is not bad, but you don't really need that upfront or that like the ending of your damage. It's mostly the front of your damage that you need to be dealing because that's when you have your E on them.
yes,
So I think cut down would also be really good.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, and
Did
also
you study these runes? Like, have you gone in and spent time like reading all the runes?
yes, yeah, I've studied basically every single rune and saw what was good, what was bad, and it's they're all dependent on champions as well and what you want to do in lane.
I only lock in Tristana, right? Like I
Yeah.
only lock in Tristana. I'm starting to get a feel for like what matchups are sort of harder for Tristana, but I never I never know what runes I'm supposed to go. I never know the difference between inspiration, resolve, domination. I sort of just let the game choose.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and I never know what the runes are doing, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't even know what I'm locking in.
Well, I think that's your homework. You should maybe look at it because
Yeah.
there's so much information that you could just learn and just try to connect it with the champion that you're playing and also what it does to the enemy.
Yeah.
And you'll make some right guesses, you'll make some wrong guesses, but it's just practicing that. You need to basically practice switching your runes for matchups and, it might just benefit you. Also your build, you went Yuntal.
Yeah.
And I'm. Why did you build that?
um, I I win it so that I could. Okay, I was actually limit testing this game. The
Okay.
Young Tao. It always recommends it in the shop,
Mhm.
and again, my build is. I really do play my build in Rune's autopilot.
Mhm.
Like I
Okay.
choose whatever the game tells me to choose. I build according to whatever the game recommends me to build, especially when it says this item is strong against these people.
Yeah.
I build according to that.
Okay. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that is terrible, but it's not the best that you can do now. So
Okay.
we need the best in class of what you should build and like your core build. And that's just going to websites like u.gg and op.gg.
Okay.
Usually the build that's on there is correct for like the most aggressive build that you can take.
Okay.
And that's why collector's first item, because collector will basically win you the laning phase like easily. And I mean, building Yuntal, you were fine anyways, but collector is just way like just so much gold value, so much gold value.
And how do you figure this gold value? So, like, for me, sometimes I have the choice of like, okay, what am I building first, right?
Yeah.
I go collector first, and I'm like, okay, I still end up losing. Like, okay, is collector something that you're supposed to build when you're ahead, when you're behind, when you're even? Like,
I mean, usually you would get it if you're ahead. You'd usually get it if you're ahead,
hmm
and then behind. I mean, if you're behind in the early game, you still build collector.
yeah,
You just still gotta build it. Like it's part of your core build, and it is the best item that's gonna be good for you. It's
hmm
like you're already far ahead. Let's not get further ahead with the terrible item choices we make. You know. So
okay,
let's just keep it the most. So like yeah, if you're behind in the early game, build more aggressive items no matter what. Just build more aggressive items because you need the
okay,
damage. And
yeah,
then when you get towards like where you were in this game, you were really fed. You should start building more defensively. The more ahead you are, the more defensively you can build. Because you
yeah,
are so far ahead, you don't need that extra damage. The Bloodthirster wasn't bad. I'm not saying, yeah, it's not bad because it is part of her build, but just having an early GA would
yeah,
kind of smack them up. You could play super aggressive when you have GA, but since you didn't have GA, you actually, I'm just gonna say this, you played really aggressively,
yeah,
and it felt like you also didn't have like spatial awareness of what was going around you.
probably, yeah.
I would say yeah, if you're like this far ahead, just build
Mhm.
GA, and once it's used, yeah, you could sell it. Well, probably not. You'll probably keep it, but like you know,
Yeah,
that first use of GA can still like change a fight. You know, it could change
yeah,
something like crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I just recommend you going to like u.gg or getting like Professor or something, and then uh pulling up what people are playing and what they are doing, because usually it's pretty correct, and like it has different builds too where you go an AD build, but
Yeah,
that one's terrible win rate. You probably just want to go for this. And as I
yeah,
said, this is like the most aggressive you can go. It's usually the most aggressive items. But
yeah,
the ending the ending fifth and sixth item can be more defensive ones, or it could be more, you know, aggressive ones.
yeah.
And that's where you can learn when you could build the more aggressive ones, and also when you can build the more defensive ones. So I
That's
think
fair.
try moving your build not only to more core like builds like this,
Yeah.
but also start testing when you should build more defensively for like building a GA when you're super far ahead. It might just
Okay.
help, you know? And you
Yeah.
can also swap items, limit test, do what you think is right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I just need to find these moments where you were like really aggressive, and also when I felt like you just had no spatial awareness of what was happening.
Is macro like my auto clicking and stuff?
No, your macro is like your overall on the map. Like where are you located, what are you doing, and how are you adding like whatever. Like if you're adding pressure to the enemy team by pushing a wave in. That's all macro.
Oh,
Micro
Okay.
is your like your clicks and your abilities and stuff,
Okay.
and also like your item build.
Okay.
So it's probably not a macro problem; it's more of a micro problem for you,
Okay.
which is different. It's
Yeah.
different from what I've been having recently.
Yeah. Like
I
I feel like I'm goaded on the jungle, bro. Like because I've had to play jungle so much, like I'm constantly like my map is like half of my screen, bro. Like
I mean, that's not a bad thing to do. I think that's actually really smart. I like make my map bigger because it's like it makes me look at it more. I think it's really
yeah.
smart. Yeah. Was it this drag? No, it was not this drag. I mean, very aggressive flash. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think like, I don't know. It felt like this was okay. It was an aggressive flash and it did get you killed. Um, but this type of aggression wasn't like the big thing that really I think fucked you guys over. W. Oh, here's one moment I was talking about with your spatial awareness.
Yeah.
It really feels like you're locked onto this guy. You're looking at him, and
Yeah.
when we keep watching, we're just like not paying attention to this guy and this girl over
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
And this guy was able to basically get to you and jump on you. And I think being this aggressive just towards that one champion is what like made this kind of bad. I feel like you can
Yeah.
play further and play a front to back. And do you know what front to back is?
Is that like when I'm killing their tanks first?
Yeah. It'd be like your tanks are fighting their tanks, you're trying to kill the tanks first, and then yeah, that's the front to back. That's the front to back battle. So I feel like you should just go with this Warwick, and then let the Warwick like basically support you as he's going on this Gragas. Because yes, she's a damage dealer, but
Yeah.
if you play this front to back, I feel like you have a better chance. Diana's doing what she's doing because she's an assassin, and I mean you want to like assassinate targets too, but this is like her job. And your job is to kill any threat that's in your face.
Yeah.
But this is like
Okay,
just the
so-
one moment where I was like, this spatial awareness just seems like you don't have. I think you guys actually won this though, because of the shutdown that the Diana got. Yeah, you actually got the Baron, and you guys, yeah. Okay, so when we're like super far ahead,
Yeah.
we need to become less aggressive. That is like pretty much the number one thing you should do as you get further ahead. Because you can make so many easy plays being ahead, you don't have to like flip coins. You don't have to do flipping the coin because you have a 6-6 Diana and you're a 9-1 Trist. You guys don't have to flip coins here. And you caught I think you caught the Morgana. And you use her ult, and like that's okay. You killed her. That's really nice. But this W was so aggressive and just in their face. And it's like a better one would just to be jump over here.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have this person in your, I think no, Yone's here actually. Yone is the problem child on their team, but you're so in their face, and you're just gonna get smacked by like these people, and that's what happens. You got smacked up. So I think just taking better choices of your W would be something I think you should focus on.
Yeah.
Because if you're right here, you would have dodged the misfortune ult. You probably would have killed her, and then I don't know what would happen after that. But I felt like that jump was the changer. Because it's like, if you die, you know your team is dead, because they can't do anything without you. But there was I think one more instance where your like spatial awareness was like not there. And it was in this one. It was this area. There's one thing I want to talk about is while we're attacking someone, we need to start kiting into a direction. And I've seen that you know how to kite, but like at this moment you didn't kite at all, and just a general good location to kite towards would be to your teammates. That's usually the best, like, so you don't have to pay attention so much about where you're kiting, just kite to your teammates. Because you didn't kite back and you just sat there and you're not realizing the danger of this like dangerous spot where people can catch you off guard, you're going to get caught off guard. And that's and that's why you got caught off guard, is because you were just not kiting back. You weren't still focused on getting away and keeping that range between people, because you don't know what's up here. I don't think you actually, well, you actually do know a little bit of what's going up here. You could actually see Yone and you've seen Yone and Gragas up there. So it would just you should just take this decision to start kiting down, because you know they're up there. You might as well get as far back as possible just to help you as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it is just all that micro that I feel like you could really work on.
How would you recommend getting better at micro? Is it like practice tool? Is it just like being mindful of it?
I mean, it's mostly being mindful, being really mindful of your choices, and also playtime. You just gotta keep playing, you know?
Yeah.
Keep playing that same champion, and you'll understand matchups more. That's micro. Matchups are micro. Items are micro. Your runes are micro. Like,
I think there's still like lots of moments where like I greed.
Yes, you are a very aggressive and greedy player.
Yeah. And I think I have to rewire that and sort of be okay with. I think it was you that said guaranteed gold, right?
Yep, guaranteed gold is better than random chance gold.
Yeah, so I think I need to be okay with that and not necessarily stomping at every point. Because I feel like Tristana's mid. After her first item, like it used to be where if you got Navori, you were just unstoppable on Tristana because your Q was free.
Yeah.
But ever since that, I haven't really understood when Tristana necessarily power spikes if you don't get ahead with her early game. But maybe I just need to start taking those like smaller. Also, one of the things I've been doing recently, sorry, just going on a tangent, is I've been backing a whole bunch. Like I back a lot, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
I thought your backs were fine.
In this game, right?
Yeah, in this game, it looked like you took great backs where you had at least like a K or 2 gold, 1K or 2K gold, and you backed when you should have. I thought those backs were good. I didn't see like anything bad with them.
Can I ask a question about my backs though?
What's that?
Sometimes early game I'll get like chunked out, right? I don't think it was this game because this game was kind of a stomp.
Yeah.
But in other games, especially when they have an aggressive bot laner, I'll be like 200 HP or 100 HP, and then I have to force it back at like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and I have like, I don't know, like 300, 400 gold. I just buy a longsword and then come back to lane. But I missed the wave. Should I just be avoiding that early game damage?
Yes. I mean, okay, so if you know, I mean, this is all very, very theory, you know? This is all very theory. It's not going to be like, obviously it's not going to be the same every game. But generally, if you know this is a losing matchup, or if you don't know the matchup, I would say you want to play as safe as possible. Your early game is where most of what happens in the game, you know? But you could still do more aggressive things like level 2 advantage, level 3 advantage. It's all still dependent on matchups though, and all still dependent on if you know them. If you know you're getting stomped, you don't take the early damage, CS is in your best abilities, and try to get a good back. I think that's what you want. You want to get a good back. If you have to take a bad back, you're just going to have to take it. Because when I hear when you say you had 200 HP under tower, and you had to back and you missed the wave, you had to do it. There was nothing you could do about it because you lost all that HP. So you had to take that back. There was no. That would have been the best decision, because if you don't take that back, you just die under tower, right?
So what would be the perfect time? Like theoretically, of course, but if you had an early game, when would you back? Ideally, what would be the most ideal condition to back in? Like, let's say you have 1,000 gold, 1,200 gold, 1,300 gold.
Look at what your next item is. It's always just go to your shop, check what item you're trying to go for next, and be like, oh, I need 1,300 gold for my BF sword. I'm staying in late until 1,300 gold. That is the statement you should make. And if you couldn't
Okay.
make it, obviously you got to take a bad back. But you should make a goal to reach a certain gold before you back. And it could be even small goals. It could be like the first back you can take is like a cheater recall. You know about cheater recalls, right? So a cheater recall is a recall that you can take under a condition of how you play the first 3 waves. Basically, what you would do is the first wave you would slow push. The second wave you would again slow push. The third wave is the cannon wave. That is the wave that you want to fast push. You fast push that thing under tower, you take a back. They're still busy clearing that stuff. The wave will bounce back to you, and you will have a 350 gold item on your name as you get back into lane.
Oh, and then the wave is reset. So
Yep,
if
it's
they
bouncing back
they
to you.
miss. Okay, and if they back, they lose a plate.
Well, no. See,
No?
like, so this is like the very first 3 waves where you're just level 3 and stuff. You can only do this on the very first 3 waves where you push the wave into them and you can get 350 gold for a free back, because they're not going to push fast enough because they're just level 3.
Yeah.
And the wave is bouncing back to you, and now you have a 350 gold advantage that you can use to kill them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think this is a game you probably could have done it. I think you might have done it, honestly. I don't really remember. This is the 3rd wave. Killing them is good, and then you shove the wave. This would be like a good, like, pretty much one of the best cheater recalls. It's not, I wouldn't say this is like a cheater recall, but this recall would be the same type of recall in a cheater recall where you recall around like 3 minutes. But now you have extra gold because you killed the enemy.
Yeah.
Because they didn't respect you. But this recall that you took, this is like the same time when you take a cheater recall is when you push the wave in, the 3rd wave in, and they don't have enough time to clear it. It's because this wave is going to be so massive because you're slow pushing all of these minions into it.
Hey, I have a question. If you were just trying to climb, right? If you're just trying to climb, if you're looking at an extended session of games, not just one game, do you think playing safe or having a more consistent early game, just like playing it safe and then dominating in the mid to late game, is that better for climbing, or is sort of like, because I feel like I have a very like hit or miss play style. You know what I mean, like, because I'm very aggressive in the early game. If I get ahead, I steamroll it. If I don't get ahead, then I'm sort of like miserable in lane, you know? I would love to, because when I played jungle, it was very calculated. It was very understood, like, okay, I'm going to get ahead by doing all of these camps. And then if there's a guaranteed gank, I'll take it. If not, I'm not bothering. But I don't take that same mentality to the bot lane. In the bot lane, I'm more like, I need to get ahead just so I can compete with the other lanes.
Well, Tristana, as a character, wants to snowball. I do believe that is you. The playstyle you have, I think, is because of Tristana, though. Because Tristana wants to do that. She wants to snowball. She wins basically almost every matchup. Like, she doesn't have a really bad... I think, Draven probably is, like, one really bad one?
Yeah, I do bad against Lucian, too.
I guess Lucian could be bad. Is it paired with, like, a Nami?
Yeah, Lucian,
you would
Nami
lose that. You would lose that any day. I'd say taking the more aggressive... So, like, this is the thing. As I'm saying this, you can be more aggressive. I'm not saying don't play aggressive, but you need to learn when to play defensive. That's all coming down to playing more matches and playing and just really thinking about all your micro, like what they have, what you have, what kind of items you bought, what summoner spells they have, what have they used, what have they not used. It's all about that. Because, like, I don't feel like there is a... Snowballing is really good for climbing. It is a really good thing to do to basically perfect your early game to make your late game basically almost unplayable for them. But now we're talking about how do we make it so we still do that, we dominate in the early game, but keep it and play safer in the later game, you know, in the late games, in the mid games.
Yeah. In this game, for instance, what position would you have bought GA at? Would it have been the first item or second? Third item?
I'd build it third. You built Bloodthirster third, which was really interesting. You just, like, delayed your IE spike, which was crazy. So, like, okay. I guess we could talk about your the spikes in the items, because you said you didn't know what gives you those spikes.
Yeah.
So, Collector's one. Collector is a humongous power spike for you. it would be your collector, and then once you get your IE, basically. Those are your 2 spikes. Big spikes.
Yeah.
Because IE does so much damage, and collector is just like the perfect buy for the most aggressive in early game. But like you delayed it with the Bloodthirster, which is very interesting.
I usually delay it with what's that? A rapid fire cannon.
So your first item should always be collector. Your second item, if you're building the most aggressive, should be IE. And then the third item is where I say you should build more defensively, is where you build your GA. Or you could build your Bloodthirster. I would say GA is better though. But like in this game, you're delaying it till your 4th item. And if you're delaying, I feel like you're delaying IE to like just too much. So what you're saying is you're delaying your IE for your 3rd item, right? Like mostly. That's when you do it.
Yeah.
I would just say you bring it down to the 2nd. The 3rd, because like the 2nd item, rapid fire cannon, I don't feel like it's going to benefit you as much as an IE will.
Rapid fire cannon, I almost use as a poking item, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing. This is all still based off of matchups. This is still all based off of how defensively you want to play and how aggressive you've been playing, or how much kills you have. If you are super far ahead, your first 2 items I think should just be collector IE, and your Berserker's Greaves. Those are your 3 items. And then the next
comes 3rd.
Huh?
And then Berserkers comes 3rd.
No, you would go collector, Berserkers, Berserkers, and then IE.
And am I right to think of Berserkers as sort of a defensive item?
Yes, I would say so. Right. I would say it's more defensive because it is movement speed. Yeah. Movement speed is very, very helpful to like dodge skill shots and stuff. But your 3rd item, or so after you build your IE, should just be your GA. That's when you start, like this is when you're the most fed. You have the best damage already put onto your 1 and 2 slot, and now your 3rd slot is a very defensive item, and you can use it very aggressively because it's GA.
I think I just need to stop listening to the fucking shop. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, I think that is
I need to stop listening to the shop, and I need to start doing my runes myself. You know?
Yep. And yeah, study up on the runes. They're super important. Because like that's what it takes to get into the higher ranks. It's macro is very important, but like if there's nothing more to improve on your macro, you need to start looking at your micro.
Okay, perfect. It's kind of refreshing to hear that I don't know, to hear that my micro is this atrocious and I still was able to get to like plat.
Yeah.
That gives me like I'm pretty happy with that. I do think I can dominate on this shit. So micro is very, very important from what I'm understanding then.
Yeah, it's like, I would say, so if we're comparing macro to micro, I would say like macro is like 60% of League, and then micro is very 40% of it.
Yeah.
I think macro is still very important, and you need it in order to win, but micro is the last bit. It's like that extra bit that you just need to learn in order to get really good.
When you saw my build, you instantly could tell that I don't even know what the item is called, the one with the 2 bow and arrows or whatever.
Yuntal.
You instantly said that that's bad, or like that's not ideal.
Yeah.
Do you have like in your brain just like gold equivalent value to each of the stats it's giving you, or is it just like it's just not good on this character, or because why is the game recommending me build it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yuntal is Yuntal is good on Sun characters. Yep. Yuntal is not good on Tristana, because and this is why I'm saying this. Yeah. It's because when we are ahead, or even when we are behind, we want to build the most aggressive thing possible. We want to build damage, and something that is really, really aggressive and oppressive is Collector, because of that lethality. And you still get crit and a bunch of damage. And lethality works on all your abilities, and your autos get a little bit more damage too.
Yes. And what is lethality? I'm still used to like armor pen. I'm probably dating myself with this.
No, I mean, lethality is armor pen, but it's a scaling armor pen. It's way worse, or it's a little bit worse in the early game, but better in the late game. You shouldn't build lethality straight up on Tristana. I'm just saying that this item, and this is like an item that Jin builds as well, because he doesn't need the attack speed from Yuntal, or he doesn't need that crit chance from Yuntal. He's got better items, like Collector, which is so aggressive.
I have another question. Sometimes when I'm looking at the runes, it says something about adaptive force. What is that?
Okay, so adaptive force is this little thing. It's basically I mean, it explains it on u.gg, but it's a certain amount of AP or AD that you get, and as it says, +9 adaptive force is 9 AP or 5.4 AD. So it's like it goes to your most the highest damage or AP. So if you have higher damage, then it goes to AD, and then if you have more ability power, it goes into AP. But
so it just switches.
Yes, it switches dependent on if you have more AP or more AD. So you only get that 5.4 AD from this rune.
Okay, since we're already on the runes, I have another question. So they have these big ones, right? Like PTA, lethal tempo, fleet footwork.
Yeah.
All that. But there's also the smaller ones underneath them, right?
Yeah.
As I start learning these runes, right? Because I'm gonna be testing them out.
Yep.
Is there any like rules that I should have? Like, okay, don't do this, or
Okay. Always go direct. Or sorry, always go press the attack. Always go triumph. Always go legend alacrity. Always go cut down. This should not change. None of this should change, I feel like. And then for your the second tree is where I feel like you can change it up, depending on what you want to do. More aggressive, you go domination, sudden impact, and if you want more gold, treasure hunter. This is the most aggressive you can go, because as you jump in, you get more true damage, and it's fucking OP. You know, it's OP. You deal a bunch more damage. You won't go sorcery. Period. You won't go sorcery unless. No, actually, nope. No, you never. You would never go that rune. I don't think. Honestly, Resolve Tree is kind of like pretty trash for ADCs because they don't really need any of this. Yeah. If you're really scared about being poked out and taking a lot of damage in the early game, I mean, you can go Second Wind, but the second one, I would probably. I mean, Overgrowth would probably be your best bet, because this, like, honestly, this is not a good second one you should take either. So like, it's probably only going to be domination and inspiration that you should go for. But if the matchup is really that bad for you, you could take second win if it really fucks with you, because second win is good for healing, because like if an attack it says right there, after taking damage from an enemy champion, heal for 4% if you're missing health. So this can keep you in the game for a little bit longer. I probably would never go it though. And then if you're gonna go this tree, always go magical footwear, always go biscuits.
Okay, this is for like sustaining game.
Yep, sustain, and also more movement speed, which is helpful.
Yeah.
And then you don't change these. You don't change these. I mean, if you these, I feel like you could change this last one to like the basic health. If you really feel like you're not going to go into the late game, this one's way better. Yeah. Because this one is a scaling one. It gives you more health later on, but after it's after level 6 actually you get more health from this one. So after level 6, this is better than this. Yeah. But if you're really aggressive and you want to basically win lane really hard, you just go this one. And this one is more of a scaling one, so you don't die in the late game. You have that extra health.
Should I also be looking at what my laner chooses in terms of his runes?
I mean, you don't really have to pay attention that much to it. I think the only thing you should pay attention is if they have, I guess, fleet footwork. Because
why fleet footwork?
Because fleet footwork, when they hit someone with fleet footwork, like a minion or a champion, they get movement speed after they hit them, and also they get some health back. I don't think fleet would actually like make you lose a game, like them going fleet. Yeah. But this is like the only rune that I feel like you can like should really pay attention to. It's the only off one out of this one. Give me more damage and attack speed. Give me more damage and healing. Give me more damage and single targetness, you know? Like this one is different.
Yeah.
Because like
Hmm.
most, I mean, okay, I would say maybe one thing. I guess one thing to look out for is I don't know who builds Halo Blades. I don't think anyone does, but maybe a Draven might have done Halo Blades to you. And I mean, you can even try Halo Blades if you're really looking forward to it. It's a
Yeah, I think I
very
used to run Halo Blades on Tristana.
It is a very aggressive playstyle.
Yeah.
It's more for like mid Tristana. Hail of Blades is like another thing to look out for. They like short trades, so anyone that wants Hail of Blades wants a short trade. Try to elongate the trade as long as possible because they're gonna win the trade no matter what if you don't do it. I don't think I have anything else really to say. This was a lot about just micro.
Yeah. And that's good for me to know, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
at least now I have a direction to look at. Because this game is difficult. This game is like, I don't know, like, anyone that's good at this game has gone through, like,